right, here we are post Helene and post Milton.
So we're here. We want to talk about insurance today a little bit. We are going to show you a neighborhood that we're in. You know, we are here for a listing appointment today, but we want to kind of show you this area because, you know, look, we live in Florida. One of the risks is certainly hurricanes. But I think today's video really is just about check your insurance and why you need to check your insurance long before a storm comes. So that's what we'll be talking about today.
Stay tuned. We're going to show you the real deal, boots on the ground, aftermath, and kind of talk about what's important, things that you could do afterward. Listen, it's not pretty. Well,
it's not pretty.
Move over here so people.
Well, we're going to show you a little bit of we're going to shoot some video here in the neighborhood. We're in a waterfront neighborhood that's a little bit south of Sarasota. But really, today's conversation is, you know, and listen. I'll be the first one to tell you, I did this myself. You know, you go into a storm and you're like, well, we have insurance, we're insured, it's all fine. And then when the storm is named, you're like, oh, wow, this looks like it's coming right at us. Then you pull out your insurance policy. It's too late then.
Right.
Like at that point, there's no point in even looking. It is what it is at that point. So I think today's conversation really is that it's super important that you're pulling out your policy and taking a look going into season. Certainly, we've had 2 storms. I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm paying attention to another storm that's coming at us. It looks like it's going to veer away from us. It does look like we're going to be fine on the third one. But, you know, look, it's super important to know what those policies have written into them because afterwards, you know, everybody does the same thing. You're sitting in your living room going, huh, well, I wonder how much it costs to replace my cabinets and how much it replace
you guys,
my drywall.
To give you an idea, and I'm going to take some more video here, but like this is the real deal aftermath of Milton and Helene combined, back to back.
Yep.
I mean, look at this. Look at how the street looks. It's not picked up yet. This is right on an inlet, right on the broaching to the open water there.
Well, and so, I think that something that's super important to talk about too is that, you know, and I don't mind saying we're in the neighborhood for a listing appointment. It may be 2 months or 3 months before they can get all of this picked up because this isn't the only neighborhood that looks like this.
Right.
And so I just think that like going into storm season, it's really important that you prepare, as we talked about in previous videos. I think it's really important that you look at your insurance policy and say, gosh, you know, because I did this. We sat down in our after the first storm. We sat down and I'm looking at the insurance policy and I'm like, you know, we probably need a little bit more content. Yeah. We probably need a little bit more on the house. Flood, we have maxed out, so we have the max you can get on the flood policy.
I think it's $100,000 for flood or something.
I think
depends on the area.
I think we're $250 for the house, and then we have like it's some minimal amount of number, like $40,000 or something for the contents. But I think it's just really important that you guys are looking at these insurance policies before season. Once the storm is named, they can't change the policy. They can't write it. They can't do anything to it anyway.
And unless your lender requires it, it would be more expedited. But if you're not in a flood zone and you just request a flood policy, it could be up to a 30-day wait.
Sure.
So you want to get that pre-hurricane season. Hurricane season is June through November every single year. It's half the year. Another really important thing, obviously, on top of that is, you know, I mean, you could obviously self-insure. And if you could self-insure, then that's another topic. But outside of that, make sure your insurance policies are covered. You have enough coverage for what you think your contents are. Remember, it's drywall, it's flooring, it's baseboards, it's furniture,
it's appliances. And don't forget that, like, you know, the appliances that you bought a couple years ago for $3,000-$4,000 are now like $8 or $9 or $10,000.
So just take that into what you feel. It's always going to be more than what you think.
Right.
But on top of that, effective October 1st, we now have two new mandatory disclosures for all sellers, whether you're on the water or not.
Right.
It's a flood disclosure and a hurricane disclosure.
So if you're selling and you had a flood or during the hurricane you had a major damage to the property, you're gonna have to disclose that.
Yes.
So it's really important that you're thinking about these things. I would also caution people. You know, there's a lot of people that have been self-insured over the years, and usually one of the things they use to talk themselves into self-insuring is, well, we're in Sarasota, we've never had a direct hit, Okay, well, we just did.
Well, we just did.
And there's the past history has nothing to do with what's going to go forward. And so I just don't. It's
how they calculate risk and
sure.
therefore your premiums and how we are going to pay our premiums and at what cost. And not to get into like a prediction video here, but we're already starting to get the people calling. I had someone from my YouTube, thank you for calling, asking about opportunities on Siesta Key because Siesta Key got hit really bad. I think the timing was a little too soon. It was right after. But this is what's gonna happen. People want opportunities. People are gonna want to leave Florida. They're gonna want to leave the barrier islands and the coastal line. I can't blame them. Look at the destruction.
Yeah, and I think that, look, and I'm just speculating here, but look at what happened to Sanibel, Matlacha, Cape Coral, you know, these areas that are south of us that have had multiple storms over the last couple of years. I would caution everybody to hit pause here. And the reason I say that is because the market may take a huge drop here. And if it does take a huge drop here, even those investors that are thinking, well, you know, gosh, I was looking on Longboat Key, lots on Longboat Key were 1.4 million. Now I can get one for 800. There's also nothing that says that it's not going to go from 800 down to 5. And so, or lower, you know, we don't know. And any agent or any realtor that comes in and tells you, well, this is exactly what's going to happen to the market, they are not telling you the truth.
It's unprecedented since I've lived in Sarasota. I've been here 22 years, 22 and a half years. You've been here longer, born and raised in Venice. So anybody that says like they know that this and that and this is going to happen, these are just possibilities because we're already starting to see it. I saw a colleague of mine over at Michael Saunders do a clip, and I thought it just resonated with me and exactly what you said. If you don't have to make a decision right now, just wait. Call us.
Right.
We could talk through the options. Just because you call us doesn't mean we're going to pressure you to sell. That's not at all where we're at. We're there to advise you on the options. Like maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's repair, maybe it's you just want to get out. We're just here as like an advocate for you, whether you're our buyer or you're our seller, and we'll just give you the options.
And I would caution you as well. Look, the next couple weeks and the next couple months directly afterwards, there is going to be some panic selling. There is going to be people who were self-insuring and trying to, you know, hold the costs on themselves that are going to have to, they're not going to have a choice. They have to sell. It doesn't make any sense for them to continue paying taxes and utilities on a property that is really just a tear down property. So again, if you're not in a rush to sell right now, I would say hit pause, take a deep breath. If you are, or if you're to the point where you're like, look, we don't care, we just want to get out of here, we don't want to deal with these storms any longer, then certainly we're here to help you. But I honestly am telling my clients, I don't know what's going to happen in the next week, 2 weeks, and 3 weeks.
We're here to walk you through it all, though.
Yeah, but we're here, and we're going to communicate with you, saying like, look, this is what we're seeing in the market,
pricing and like all that.
So we don't want to push people to list. We don't want to push people to buy. I would caution the people who are thinking, well, we're going to jump in and, you know, take advantage of, you know, a really low market because of these 2 hurricanes. You know, just because you're getting in at a lower price point doesn't necessarily mean you're at the lowest price point.
You know, and also just think about what some of these people are going through. I had, you know, Minnesota is special to me. I've known a lot of the owners down there, salt of the earth people, really just amazing people that have worked so hard their lives and have earned the right to be on Minnesota, can have these great homes, some of them generational. And one of them is completely the red roof line property I had completely to the ground. I mean, it's a total loss. The big Minnesota house, the Gulf to Bay property that we initially started at 10 million, the first floor is entirely, you
empty.
can see through it. So, you know, it's not livable though. So like these people are not coming back. It's very traumatic. It's shocking. It's emotional. But we're just trying to be a friend and advocate right now and just try to show you what's going on and keep you educated as we always have.
And I would also say this to people who are going to sell.
Tell me.
It's super important that you are looking at the market. Normally, you have weeks at a time that you can take market snapshots and get a feel for things. Because of the aggressiveness of what this market I think is going to look like, you really are going to have to be looking daily, because I think that, like,
and we do.
Yeah, and we do. But I'm saying, like, you as a seller, if you're considering selling, you know, if you're thinking you're going to get the price that you were going to get 6 weeks ago before these storms, that's not going to happen. It just isn't going to happen.
Now, some of the people inland might have an opportunity. If
Maybe.
You're inland and you had no damage through either storm,
right,
that might be a chance for the people on the islands to escape to the inland.
Sure,
but
sure.
we don't know. I just quoted, you know, we've been talking to so many people
Right.
that we're getting ready to sell some, you know, list some more properties here. So get ready for some great upcoming inventory.
Sure.
No or very minimal, very minuscule cosmetic damage to properties. So get ready for that. So we just don't know how the trends are going to be, right? I think my buddy Ryan Vlasic, who was on here, he's
Sure.
at the Siesta Key location for Coldwell Banker. He put it nicely and very, you know, well said that, you know, people are soon to forget when it's cold up north.
Right.
So people are always going to want to have the dream to be in a sunny, warm state.
Sure.
And I think it's just a period in time right now that we're going to have to get through.
Agreed.
Right? So,
Agreed. And you know, again, we don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
So I would tell you, if you're listening right now, be prepared for, you know, our experience has told me the faster and more aggressive you are to drop the price and move a property, the better off you are in the long run. Because over time, if you're waiting and making smaller and smaller reductions, eventually you just chase the market all the way down.
It's going to do a disservice to you.
Agreed.
And we've seen it so many times over and over again, and this is just exacerbating it, I think. But, you know, like I said, we're over and over again. We're here for you.
We are.
And whatever that means to you, if you just want to look at the property value right now, what
Sure.
we could possibly do, let us know.
Well, and we're also, especially for our clients, we will check on properties for people. We do have a list of vendors that we do work with regularly long before the hurricane. You know, if you're trying to go find an electrician right now and you've never worked with that electrician before, it's going to be tough. Whereas if you call us and say, hey, look, we really need an electrician. We need to get this project taken care of as quickly as we can. We have people that we know and trust and we've worked with and used before that will jump in and help us out. So,
yeah.
You know, we I think with that, you know, we're here. We're here to help you in the good times. We're also here to help you in the bad times. Yeah. And so you can feel free to call me anytime on my cell phone. My cell phone number is 941-586-2460.
And I can be reached at 941-544-7690.